the joy of 2021 and what is our audacious goal for 2022, individually and collectively. But I also want to honor and celebrate the people who have really helped and supported me, for sure, in the whole of my life, but especially in these last 2 years. So over the last 2 years, I want to concentrate on how magical conversations and the goal of creating real synergy between men and women has inspired me to be talking to a beautiful tribe like yourself and many others who've been in this space with us. I want in particular to celebrate Philip and Adolfo and Curtis, who've been on my internal team. These 3 men have helped me to understand what men are about, alongside other men in my life, obviously my husbands, my brothers, my friends who are men. But we've been exploring as a team with some beautiful women as well, what real synergy between men and women is all about. But I feel there's a shift coming on, and with a bigger round of applause for my beautiful friend Lisa Ma, who has helped me in many ways to understand this platform, the platform of Hub, and also how to connect and how being your superpower and how to be. So I want everybody to wave at Lisa Ma, if you can see her up there, because this is about celebrating. It's about understanding how do we all come together? How do we all flow together? Now I have some wonderful friends on here who I've known for some time. Georgina, I've known, I think it's 7 years now, Georgina, isn't it? But many of you I've only met in the last short while. And yet one of the things that feels for sure, I think Philip is the person I've known the longest because I met Philip in 1999. So that's a long time ago. But those of you who I've only met recently, and I've only met in the last 2 years, and I've only met in the last several weeks, even in the last week, and some of you I never met before, I still feel that we're all connected and that there is something super, super amazing happening as we come together. And that's why I put on this heading is celebrating the smiles that we come to bring together. And smiling is a really important part, but very often, and I don't know whether this happens to you, messages come to me at night or in the early morning as I awake. And what came to me was about a month ago was this idea that authentic harmony is going to be a major theme for 2022. And for those of us who are into the idea of the higher consciousness, the spirit of flow that's happening, I've just learned so much over the last 2 years, actually being online. So being online has limitations. I haven't touched all of you. I haven't hugged you because I haven't been in your presence, but I feel like I have. So I think we can give a kind of virtual hug on the screen and that will help us, yes. Okay. And one of the things I'd like to just introduce to you, because I love, as many of you know, I love to have visuals. I love to have something that I can work with. I want to show you a few slides to set in mind, but I would like you to think about what is your big, big smile you've had for 2021? What is it that's really, you could literally, as you think about it now, a big moment, a big success or something, and it makes you smile. It makes all this energy come up from within. And as I show you some of these slides, I'd love you to just have a think about what that energy might be. So let me just, so just on the screen, I want you to think about what is your audacious, authentic goal for 22 and what makes you smile. So what makes you smile in this year? And we'll have a breakout and just find out what was it that really made you smile this year. But in your mind, think about what is going to be happening in 2022 that is going to really stretch you. I met Betty recently, and I don't know whether any of you saw my post, but look at this lovely lady. I enhanced the photo a touch, but really not much. But this lady is 90. And she has got the most amazing, audacious smile that I had come across. And I think we've all got Bettys in our life. Many of you are Bettys in my life. You make me smile. And I love this illustration about the 7 wonders of the world. All the simple things in life are what really make us tick. And I wrote down some of the things that make me smile, and I'd love to find out from you. But I was just looking at this. I'm sure you all know this, but smiling is such a natural gift to create authentic harmony. I wonder why we don't use it more. And I looked this up online because I suppose it's obvious to you, but if you smile, all sorts of things happen. It's not just a pleasant way of meeting somebody else. It actually increases your immune system. It's contagious, it's healthy. It makes you live longer. So everyone's want to live longer. It lifts our mood, it reduces it. It actually lowers blood pressure, makes you more attractive. It also suggests success. It helps us to stay positive, and it even reduces pain. So how cool is that, that actually the simple aspect of smiling is going to make us healthy and wealthy and wise. So I actually want to just stop there before I go any further. I want to show you some ideas about what we've discovered this last year. But I was wondering if we can just pop into a little breakout room, maybe in 4s, and just share what has made you smile this year with each other. Now, Lisa, I'm going to try and do this myself, if I can remember how to do breakout rooms. Oh, here we are. So I'm going to ask you a favor, Lisa. If I make 1, 2, 3, 4 rooms, would that automatically put everybody into a room?
You can do the automatic feature. There's an option to manual automatic, so pick the button that's automatic.
Okay, so you're just going to be having 1 minute each to say, what has made you smile this year? And share it with the other 4 people in your room. Okay. I can't work out where I put the timing in.
You can just do automatic when everyone's done. You can go and close the rooms. And let me know if you want.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I'm learning something. I'm learning something. So share, what has really made you smile this year? What's been your Betty moment? Hi, Molly. Hi, PJ. I'm just laughing because Philip found he was in my room and he said it was great smiling at me, watching me doing technology. So there's always, there's this statement, when was the last time you did something for the first time? Well, that was the first time I actually closed a breakout room. So I just learned something. So all this magical thing about men and women being able to do things in different ways, is that true? I would like to just share something around 2021 and what we've been doing internally with what I'd like to share, which is an authentic power grid. So one of the themes, as I said, was authentic harmony. I'd like you to think about, what does harmony mean to you? Because when we look at the world, you know, we all have a different view of a word. So you'll have a view on authentic and a view on harmony, and putting those two together. It's because this is my big, audacious, smiley goal for 2022, to actually have authentic harmony between men and women everywhere in the world. Is that possible? Well, I think anything is possible. As we know, there's lots of disharmony in the world. There's a lot of arguments and polar opposites. There's a lot of marginalization of women and diverse groups and all sorts of things going on. So is it possible to get to this? And one of the reasons it came to me is I was thinking about the power grids that go across the world, you know, the actual pylons. So if you visualize the pylons as they stretch across the world, and they infuse our world with light. So when we switch the wall or we plug in, we get electricity forming things that work. How about we could actually plug in and plug human beings into each other and make a human grid that is based on the fuel of love? Is that simple? Does that make you smile? Because if we can do that, if we can get past every toxic action, every bad behavior, we could actually connect with each other. And I know that everybody on this call really desires that for whatever reason, in whatever, you know, whatever format you're doing that. It might be in writing, it might be in masterclasses, it might be in running networks, it might be actually in constructing programs, or it might be constructing material, physical things. So where is our ability to have this human grid, authentic power grid? So that's what I felt came to me one morning. And as many of you who know me very well, especially Georgina, who I have many long conversations, who inspires me hugely. This is an amazing woman here. You all need to get to know Georgina. You all need to get to know each other, but this is a very special lady. We met when I was living in Malaysia for 4 years, although she's British. No, she's not. She's Welsh. So I apologize about that, Georgina. We get this right. I'm English. But wherever we come from, people are people. And that's my discovery, having lived a long time in England, 4 years in Malaysia, and now 4 years in America. People are people. And there's a fundamental basic that we are male and female, men and women of all sorts of different variations. So I want to just share with you the power grid. So you might have a little idea about it. But first, I would like to just share with you something that happened for me 10 years ago. I wrote an intention message to the universe, and it's based on smiles. So this is my scrappy writing, so apologies for the writing. But I wrote this on a spiritual retreat on December the 31st, 2010, when I didn't know that I would ever leave England. I didn't know that I would do what I was going to do. But I had started a process of releasing. I'd released my apartment. I had gone free fall, I think was the expression. But if you'll note on here, there are lots of things on there that are now starting to be part of my future. Teaching men and women loving relationships, bringing men to women together with a new language, educating future generations. And the man that I married has a University of Entrepreneurology, which some of you know about, but that is an education format which is about smiling into our lives. So maybe there's something about what you are intending for 2022, which you've already written, you've already drawn, you've already set it somewhere, and you may know it or you may not know it. But that was my intention sheet. And it talks about transforming business with love. And it's got pound signs because I'm British, but it's got magical conversations. It's got everything in it. So just going fast forward, one of the things that happened for me is that over the last year, I had these amazing people come and help me. Philip, who I've originally mentioned, Curtis, Adolfo, Dawn, Angela, Alison and Tami, who are not here today, but it's all about creating a future worth living for. Is that something that you desire? Is it part of your audacious goal for 2022? And if so, how can we smile into that harmony together? One of the other metaphors I like to use, and you can see it on my back wall here, is the lighthouse. And those of you who've been on our calls before, we do shine our light. All of you shine your light. You shine it beautifully in your own world and across the internet now. And it's a very simple value cycle. Each one of you are wise. You have your smile, you have your audacious goals, and you connect with each other to create the we. Now, we've got some stormy weather around us, but when the seas are tranquil and the weather's fair, we may not need the lighthouse keeper. But when the storm approaches, and I would say the last 2 years have been fairly stormy, I think we can agree that. One of the things for sure is that the lighthouse keeper is always there. So each one of you is always there shining your light. I want to look at how do we shine our lights so that we shine together into something that is more magical. Now, this was a little piece of our research, just a tiny little piece, where we asked men and women on our calls, and some of you were there, how do you see each other? So I don't want you to read the whole lot, but as you read them, you can see that our perceptions are very different. When men and women look about women, the words have much more gentleness to them. When women and men talk about men, there's some more harder words in there, but they're all mixed up. One of the things we notice is that women are the great nurturers of the world, and the men are both protectors and providers. This was a tiny bit of our study in understanding this power grid. So I want to show you the power grid. I will send you these slides so you can study them. But basically, those of you who know my work already, you know who you are. For those of you who don't, it's very simple. Men do tasks and women do relationships. We have some masculine energy in us and we have feminine energy in us. And essentially the masculine comes from our head and the feminine from our heart. And when we start looking at how we mix that together, what we discover is that although men and women are different, there are different types of men. When you look at women, there are different types of women. Now, I created this because I'm an MF. I'm a masculine-minded female. And what I wanted to do was to find some fun ways of actually being able to understand ourselves. So I'm not going to go into a full lesson on this. I wanted to share with you why this is an authentic power grid, because if we are going to plug ourselves into a new universe, a new higher consciousness based on love, then respecting our differences, valuing our differences, I believe is the way that we get past difficulties and blocks. So I'm going to give you a very instant, fun grid. And the ruler, who is very direct, he's in those red boxes. The feminine-minded male, the philosopher, is in a warehouse full of boxes, and I credit Curtis for that metaphor. Those of you who are female, who think you're a sovereign, are very circular, very build the community. Here's the beautiful Lisa. Lisa Ma is a wonderful sovereign because she creates communities within communities. And I would say maybe, PJ, you're more of a magician, that you, like myself, we still have the female core of nurturing and multitasking, but we have a different logic. Now, and this is the challenge, if this is the new power grid, and I'm not supposing you all have to agree with it, but I believe if we understand ourselves individually and collectively, we can switch on a new light across the world so that men and women always live in authentic harmony. That's the basic proposition. And there's lots and lots of complexity to this, which I'm not going to go into, which Philip will be glad about, because it's very simple at one level. The ruler is a bullet point man. He loves to tell us where it is. The philosopher, like Curtis, Oh, and Adolfo, who is our other ruler. Curtis, who's our philosopher, is always asking lots of good questions. The magician is always looking at ideas and sharing things, and the sovereign is a beautiful carer. Now, we can all do everything, but what we're looking at here is how do we plug in this authentic power grid to be authentic harmony? Now, I want to get us into breakout rooms. You don't need to understand the complexity of that, but think about the simplicity. We each have extraordinary authentic energy that we can plug into this grid. So whatever it is we're doing, by understanding a ruler, the philosopher, the magician, and the sovereign, the blend, the mix is what makes the harmony. It's like creating a symphony. We want all the different players to come together. So given that authentic power grid, even if you don't understand all of it, is to understand that if you're men, you stand on the left side of that grid, and as females, we stand on the right. But it is totally inclusive. Everybody is somewhere. That when we join together, we switch the electricity of human love on. And therefore, we can create any audacious goal we could possibly imagine. Peace in our time, the end of poverty, the end of arguments, I don't know what, being very, very big. So I thought we could go into breakout rooms now. And the question for me is, for you, is whatever energy you think you have, whether you're a feelings person or a facts person, whether you're more in your head or more in your heart, how do you bring a completely audacious goal together in 2022, where there's authentic harmony in your world and in our world? What would you, as wise, bright-minded light workers, how would you do that? What would you suggest that we create for 2022 in order to create authentic harmony? Is that clear? So let's come back with some really audacious ideas that we can share. And I thought we would have, if we go back into 4 groups, because I know how to do that in the breakout room, which is good. I know.
How much time do we have, Pauline?
Well, I was going to reassign this, and let's take 12 minutes. So we've got 3 minutes each, so to speak, but come back with some ideas that we can share in the last quarter of an hour. Is that okay? And be audacious in your ideas for 2022, because I think we need difference out there to be understood, not difficult. Okay, I think I've got this. So we take 12 minutes. I think I've got it right.
That is literally the second time that Bob has been cut off.
Yeah, maybe it's in the carbs. Huh?
Bob, it's an occupational hazard if you're the last to go.
Okay, I'm going to invite somebody to take a screenshot, because my computer won't take screenshots for some reason.
I took one for you.
Thank you. Smile.
Oh,
Okay, let's take another one. Get ready.
do another one. I was looking that way.
Okay, ready. All right, got it.
Okay, let's have some feedback into the room. Oh, we had some wonderful ideas, but I'd love to hear from another group. what were the thoughts that you had? Who was in, I don't know who was in which group, so you have to just put your hand up. Which group were you in, PJ?
So I was in a group, okay, so we had John, Lisa, and Philip and myself, and we already have raised the bar on authentic harmony. So mic drop, we're good. Now, so it was just an amazing conversation. So we went alphabetical, and it was amazing how each of us built on each other. So John talked about getting rid of labels, that real authentic harmony labels go away. That Lisa talked about the human connections and activating our highest potential. And then when Philip came in, he said, you know, I agree that labels might not always work for everyone, but I'm a judge and I'm a ruler, so I like the labels. And so, you know, that exchange, I mean, we were the epitome of the example of authentic harmony, because even though you like or think differently, you accept the others. And so Philip talked about building a safe environment, and I was like, damn, that's what I was going to talk about. So I took it even further and focused on values. And I shared the values jam game, and that when we build a safe environment and people trust,
Yes.
the labels do drop and the judgment does drop. And so we will build authentic harmony based on how we show up in the world. So it's in the numbers game. So Pauline, your task for 2022 is just get 1 million of us doing this all the time.
Absolutely, that is absolutely what we're going to do. Thank you. And I've got some ideas on how we'll do that. Thank you, PJ. So another group, who was, let's have a look at Sharon. Whose group were you in? There's a pussycat on her shoulder.
Yeah, that's Dante. So he's the disruption in the world. We'll learn from Dante. I also have Dragon. She's around. So Dragon and Dante. Yeah, no, I was in a group with Curtis and Michelle and Dr. Rajput, and we had huge alignment on, you know, the intention of the authentic humanizing world. We started with the values, we moved to grace, and then respect and communications and planting seeds. I love Curtis and Michelle talking about when you plant seeds in shit, you get the best crop you've ever had. And it's that really resonated, and I think it's awesome. You know, it's a fertilizer. It's a great fertilizer, and we are so much wading through shit on a regular basis in our world these days. Let's use that. Let's actually plant the seeds that we want to plant to grow the flowers of that authentic harmony that we can all live together. And it was magical.
That's fantastic. Okay, fantastic. And the third group, Georgina, were you in a different group?
Yes, I was. I'd actually like to suggest that Bob speaks, because he was cut off twice. I feel that, you know, actually, you know,
Oh, yeah,
allow
Bob.
him space. And he actually listened to all of us first before he spoke anyway. So over to you, Bob.
Okay,
You can do a double act.
yeah, well, I was just about done anyway, but the authentic harmony, I think we all expressed in one way or another that we've been on a journey, and we've gotten to the point where we are our authentic selves. We are, yeah. I like to think of it as, since we're talking about shit, the sloughing off the bullshit. All right, getting down to who you really are, and being happy with that. Being, you know, if you're okay with that, whatever it is, then you can just go on and deal with life and add your voice to that harmony. Something that JC said resonated with me when he talked about being a scout, being a person that goes out ahead of the tribe and finds things and then brings those back. And that's very much what I do, although I didn't know it. And labels. We, all of us, and I think our society and culture as well, you don't want to be a girly boy. You don't want to be a tomboy. Or we used to anyway, have to align with the societal and cultural. And I think that's going away. And I think so that opens up a lot of diversity, that opens up a lot of authenticity, and all of that can harmonize across the spectrum, if you will. And when you are dealing, you are authentic and you're dealing with authentic people, you trust is a natural. We all see the politicians on TV, and again, keeping with the theme, they're full of shit. And and we all see that. So of course we don't trust them. So yeah, just be yourself and let the chips fall where they may, and trust it's going to get better. We'll see. I hope so.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you from that group. So just to Layla and Adolfo and Kerry was with me, and Layla started with saying, we need to join forces. I love that joining forces, connecting awareness, cross-pollination, and there's a lot of people out there doing similar things. So we're not saying that this is the beginning, but authentic harmony, being aware of yourself. And Kerry said a lovely thing, which was be okay to keep building community even in lockdown, and allow permission to say hello. Everybody, we know there's a lot of mental health and challenges from lockdown, but it's okay not to be shouted at if you go and check out somebody else, and that kind of harmony on a local level. And we talked about the noise. We want to make harmony is music, it's not noise. So we want to create music, we want to be able to be ourselves. And something that, Adolfo, you said this, the best gift you can give any another person is to let them be free to be themselves. So the best gift you can give another person is to be free for themselves. And I think it's about knowing me, knowing you. And we talked about releasing the inner child. So as we release the inner child into these conversations, but it also is always about honoring our differences. So it's very interesting, this idea about labels. Labels are only restrictive, in my view, if we allow them to be restrictive. But if there are signposts saying, this is who I am, or this is the way to go, or turn left here, or turn right, then they're helpful.
Yeah.
What I love about this conversation is that it's very harmonious. So was there anything I left out, Kerry, Adolfo, or Layla? Okay, good. But in each of the four groups, you had a mixture of archetypes. And the archetypes are not personalities, they're not labels, they're signposts in order to be embracing. And one of the things I'm really, really passionate about is creating the magical conversation space, which this is, with no judgment, no anger, no coercion, and to create authentic harmony as you say, PJs, it's lifting it up to the next bar. I was talking last night, I have the privilege to be interviewed by a lady in Australia who has been studying the gender-based violence that still goes on around the world. And we were exploring about how we create this authentic power grid in order to not just minimize that, but release it and eliminate it. We don't have space in our life, and we don't need violence. And one of the things I think you were alluding to, Adolfo, which was good, was about be as in nature. So when you look at the authentic Power Grid, and I will send you a kind of a finished version with all the bells and whistles on for your view, is as in nature, we're different. As in nature, we're all unique. But by finding some similarities within the differences and understanding and valuing the differences, we grow a beautiful human universe. So any comments from all the comments? I know we're coming up to time, and I know we've had a few comments about shifting the shit. What we say is that we shift the ship by putting F into shit, which F is flow and freedom and flexibility, and maybe female, feminine, who knows what the F is for. But it's important that we take notes of those. So please put your details in the chat so everybody can find them. I know, Lisa, you have to pop off now, but it's been really good having you there. And all of you, I would love you to stay in touch. Have a beautiful and wonderful Merry Christmas, Happy Christmas, whatever it is you say about this festive time of the year. And our goal is to continue into 2022 with another version of this kind of activity under the gaze of authentic harmony and creating a symphony for life and finding out who each one of you are in that authentic harmony lighthouse shining across the world. So make sure your details in there.
Yeah, I just wanted to see what Lisa was talking about. We do have a workshop and another networking event tonight. I just dropped the link for it for our webpage. But just wanted to share that with you guys tonight and hope to see some of you there. That's from 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern.
Okay, so maybe just a quick last one. Put one word in the chat about how you feel from this conversation. What's your energy right now? Uplifted, thank you. Hopeful.
That hour flew by. That was
happy, magical, optimistic. Oh, John, that's fabulous. I know you're always optimistic, energized. That's great, Georgina. Thank you. If we can just replicate, this is what PJ you said, we just replicate this time and time and time again, we start changing the power grid of the universe, of this planet, and then the universe. So we do.
It's a ripple.
It's a ripple. And that's what I love about being online across the world, from Australia to UK to here, across everywhere. And we're going to make great, great changes in 2022. It's got a very lovely feel to it. I'm very honored to know all of you, and I'm very appreciative of you, and keep smiling whatever you do. And I love you all immensely. You mean a lot in my life. And I can't tell you how it helps me to feel that this is possible.
all right. Happy holidays, everybody.
Pauline, it's not only possible, it's no longer on a napkin. There's a lot of faces on this screen. Thank you for building this.
Thank you. Don't forget to save the chat by clicking the 3 buttons on there.
It's not there.
Way at the bottom.
It's not there.
It's
Really? I have it. It's
If you look where it says to everyone, just along there on the right hand side, there are three
There's
very
I've got it
buttons, and
too.
if you press it, it'll say save chat.
No, mine's not there.
I don't see that option, Carrie.
Yeah.
it's
Mine's not
above.
there.
Hang on, let's see if I can.
The option is above where it says participants can check with.
Oh, somebody can send it to you.
I can send it to you. I found it.
Okay, because yeah, it's definitely not on my end.
Yeah, neither on my side. Because if she's saying the 3 dots, that's under more, and under that is record.
Yes.
oh no, not
Save
those
chat.
3 dots.
Is
It's
there
the
save
3
chat?
dots in the
It's
chat.
inside the chat,
Is
Yeah,
there-
inside the chat.
all the way at the
Inside
bottom.
inside the chat there is there. Save the save chat. It is coming.
Oh, okay, okay,
Okay.
okay,
Yeah,
okay.
Inside. Yeah.
Okay,
One
now I
minute.
learned something
Save
new.
the chat. Yeah.
Michelle, I'll send it to you.
Please send it to
Technology.
me. Um,
Yeah,
See you,
accept me.
everyone.
I just pinged you on LinkedIn. I'll send it to you.
Chat saved.
Okay. Yeah, because I definitely don't have the dots there.
I did
All
it.
Thank you.